What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and a new news story came across my desk just at the end of the day, but I was also kind of looking for a reason to remind you all that I'll be live streaming tonight. If Tim Cast is live, it'll probably be after Tim's show. There's no point in competing. That way you guys can enjoy both. And we'll go over some news stories, but also we'll have some memes and some package openings and stuff like that probably later today. But the media is absolutely losing its mind as it's like this breaking report that Joe Rogan was actually paid $200 million instead of just $100 million by Spotify, and this is a huge problem. Obviously, the mainstream media doesn't really have anything else to talk about right now than Joe Rogan. He's essentially their new Trump. And it's really funny to watch. It's really, really funny to watch all the just absolute copium mainlining from places like Garbage Business Insider and even the New York Times. Every one of them have been tweeting this out and been getting absolutely crushed in the replies. But let's take a look at some of their hard-hitting reporting first. Spotify reportedly paid $200 million for Joe Rogan's podcast, double the previously known price. By the way, is it any of your business? I suppose the original, people who are invested in the company, they may have some interest in that, but nonetheless, this is breaking news, everybody. To me, you might say, well, Jeremy, aren't you making fun of them for? Yes, I am, but we're going to look at all of the hilarity in the responses to their articles. So Spotify paid $200 million for the exclusive streaming rights to the Joe Rogan Experience Thursday, according to a report from the New York Times. That's double the $100 million deal previously reported in 2020. Rogan's agreement with Spotify was a multi-year contract to be paid over 3.5 years. Two anonymous sources familiar with the deal reportedly told the Times. I would also be shocked and probably also appalled at the same time if he wasn't also getting some back end, right? Like, he's getting some sort of back end residual for Spotify premium members, I would imagine. It's not like he's getting $200 million forever. Like, he gets $200 million once and then he never gets paid again. That doesn't make sense. Based on the timeline now, Spotify announced it's an exclusive deal with the world's #1 podcaster under 2 years ago in May of 2020, but didn't reveal the value of the contract. Rogan released his first show on the streaming service on September 1st, 2020, and became Spotify exclusive later that year. Based on the timeline and the Times report, Rogan's contract renewal is likely due in 2023. Okay, so that would make sense. And did not immediately respond to insiders' request for comment. Rogan had recently come under fake outrage for spreading COOF misinformation, causing loser musician Neil Young and Joni Mitchell to boycott Spotify. I bet you neither one of them even knows how to install the program. Following the controversy, conservative-leaning video website Rumble offered him $100 million to host the podcast there, matching what people believe to be the value of his deal for Spotify at the time. Now, I'll tell you this much. If he could get 200 mil out of Spotify, but then also slide on over to Rumble in 2023 and pick up another 100 mil, it might be a little bit of a pay cut, but he could also prop up a whole new website, which would be awesome. How about you bring all your shows? You say Joe Rogan has since thanked Spotify for taking so much heat, and Spotify CEO Daniel Ek defended the podcast during a tense town hall meeting with employees. Spotify has invested over $1 billion in its podcasting arm, including acquisitions of Gimlet Media, Anchor, Parcast, The Ringer, and Megaphone. On Thursday, the company announced the purchase of two podcast analytics companies, Podsights and Chartable. Well, this is also a company that, I'm not kidding, paid Meghan Markle, or whatever her stupid name is, and that other, whatever, Prince Harry, or whatever his stupid name is, $25 million for a podcast, and I'm not sure they've even done a single episode yet. I saw an article come across my desk this morning that said they got a $25 million and have produced almost no content whatsoever for Spotify. Listen, Spotify, if you're paying people $20 million to produce nothing, feel free. I'm sure a lot of my viewers would love to get a piece of that. Podcast advertising accounted for only 13% of Spotify's total 2021 revenue in Q3 as the streamer struggles to remain profitable, according to the Journal. After years of losing money, Spotify became profitable for the first time in 2019. The next year, it lost the equivalent of $2.2 million a day. So it would look that like Spotify is currently not making any money, but I'm not sure how all that works, because if we look at like the YouTube model, for example, technically, I mean, this is like widely, like a story that's widely told. I don't know if it's still true in 2022, but YouTube doesn't make money. YouTube just serves as a conduit for Google to sell ads. That's why Google bought Android, and that's why Google has Android or Google phones, and not Google bought Android, but that's why Google has phones. That's why Android's so important. That's why it uses the Google Store. These are all avenues to serve you ads. Like the apps that are there are irrelevant. They need more places to serve ads so that people can buy more ads. That's ultimately all it's about. Spotify's aggressive investment in podcasting and Rogan specifically has angered musicians who say Spotify underpays them on the platform. Well, it sounds like they couldn't pay them any more money. The Union of Musicians and Allied Workers have asked the streaming giant to raise its average pay of 0.0038 cents per stream to a penny per stream. Wow, that's actually a huge increase, thousands of times what they're already getting paid now, for the campaign called Justice at Spotify. Well, look, if you were getting paid a penny a stream, then nobody's going to get the service for free. I mean, that's quite frankly the way that it is. And also within minutes right after it, Joe Rogan's $200 million deal at Forbes released. Then of course Protocol covers it, and here's the actual Times article, which we know that there's a wonderful website for reading garbage news like New York Times that's put behind paywalls. But the idea that Spotify is actually not making money is something interesting that I'll probably investigate for a video tomorrow, because it would be pretty interesting to see if they really are unprofitable, because you could see a lot of their strategy here. Number of podcasts available, 2018, 185,000, 2019, 700,000, and then in 2021, 3.6 million. These are number of podcasts available. And then Spotify users in 2021, well over 220 million. And then you can see their revenue here is over $10 billion. So I find it hard to believe they're not profitable. What kind of insane operating expenses do they have? Now you can see share of revenue from ad-supported content, including podcasts. It's just 12.5% of their overall revenue. I assume that's coming from then premium members, which is where they make most of their money, is what I assume. And, are they in trouble? No, because these companies always have tons of money hidden. But if you look, let's take a look at the New York Times. Let's actually refresh the updates here. Breaking: Spotify lured Joe Rogan with $200 million deal. Double initial reports. Well, I mean, oh yeah, that can't be the case. We can't be overpaying. So then they go on to say it made the company a podcasting giant, but controversy followed. You know what also follows controversy? Listeners. There's a reason that Howard Stern was the king of radio, and it wasn't because everyone wanted to tune in for the music he played. It was because he was throwing baloney at strippers' rears on the show and all sorts of stuff, like girls were sitting on the Sibians and all this other stuff that people would get outraged by, and then they would tune in. Let's see. Cernovich says, should those outlets that falsely claim the deal was only $100 million be deplatformed for spreading disinformation? Well, according to the New York Times, I would say. I would think. So happy I canceled my subscription. Artists make penny for the music being streamed hundreds of times, and Rogan get 200 million. Yeah, but Rogan also brought 11 million new people to the platform. Well, 11 million daily listeners. Some of them were probably already Spotify users. You're confusing free market for government censorship. If the government told Spotify to remove Rogan, that's censorship. Spotify membership numbers drop and they remove Rogan from their platform. That's the free market. I mean, all of the cope and seethe in here, just when you thought we might be done talking about this, What if those artists also brought 11 million listeners with them, which they don't? These people are just like, they're saying they lost $4 billion. I don't think that they did. They probably invested. He's worth every penny. Your feelings don't take precedent over my choices. P.S. Neil Young slithered back to Spotify, controversy over. Well, some of his songs came back to Spotify. I don't think his entire catalog came back. I saw a lot of people reporting that, but I couldn't find any actual proof. So I would say you probably should pay. Do you feel that much Neil already ended his protest and is back on Spotify? I don't think so. I think it's just some of the collabs that were on there. I thought. This screenshot keeps floating around, but from what I can see, it's just the collabs. Nonetheless, these people will never stop screeching about Joe Rogan, and I couldn't be happier. I do hope that he does prop up his own platform or one of the many other options after his contract expires, but for now, good for Spotify for sticking by him. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.